Welcome back to See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett.
And I said, Johnny, he does a phenomenal job. But I said, make sure you focus on him. He did that this year, which was great. But it gets funny watching the whole swag game where you like, let's get there first.
Yeah.
Like there's like one guy told me, I said, take 2 laps around the field. And he goes, yo,
yeah.
I'm not a long distance runner. I'm like, what? 2 laps around a football field? So you're a distance runner now? Because it was a very minimalist approach, A lot of receivers only want to run the out portion of the reception now. I'm like, wait a minute, how do you get the timing to go through the whole pattern, with the quarterback? They say, I gotta conserve myself. I gotta save my energy.
That's hilarious. It sounds like you've developed a very flexible, adaptive style, and it feels like it might have been part of your background to begin with in certain ways. Is that true? Or did you develop more of this flexibility and adaptability as you've evolved here as a person, as a coach, as a dad, as a mentor, as a guide?
Yeah, that's part of that spiritual piece. I'm a spiritual guy. And what I learned, I'm a JC follower, but not just that. Wisdom, what I learned is, you don't know anything and you never will.
Yeah.
And if you get a bunch of champions and you train and coach them, the next one, it might be different.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep learning.
Present moment too. You're always coming back in the moment, right?
But you gotta keep learning. You
totally.
can't say I've arrived. MVP league, we're the #1 track team in the country.
That's so fantastic. MVP league, that's fantastic. What's different about you today than say 5 or 10 years ago? What's the biggest? You talked about this learning and growing. I'm into that too.
Just being. A lot of people wouldn't say that. I do more active listening.
Active listening. By the way, we talk about this all the time.
I'll sit and watch more, listen more, and react later instead of being right in that moment. Yeah, I was more of a hothead, probably.
So you've become more poised and more present and a little bit more patient. Sounds like patient. You're more patient than maybe you've ever been in your whole life. Is that true? Put him on the spot.
Probably not. Because that's what, because...
but it sounds like you're saying you are more patient.
Well, it's like black doesn't crack. So pretty much what he tried to do is focus on... You do too, man. Let's go out on a date. But the bottom line, focus on other people and remember where you come from. That's why I was taught coming from Baltimore. Remember where I come from so you don't forget the next one up. And when you're with the next one up, remember you might have that moment.
Yeah, you have more compassion, right? You're able to...
More compassion.
More empathy and more compassion because you remember back to...
Look down the road.
Like, where you were and how hard it was when you were 20 to have perspective. So you're more patient with...
Give them a chance.
Dumb stuff or whatever it is.
Right. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Now with the pandemic, it's definitely different. And since he said so many.
What's the it? It's definitely different.
Getting the kid to that next level.
Yeah.
Getting the athlete or keeping a person at that level.
Because of the sort of disruption.
Well, that whole mental health and the whole fragility thing of
No, it's amazing. Yeah, I've never been busy.
Being by yourself, And so the high school kids are sitting at the computer, and they're like, "Oh man, my psyche is just not happening." And I'm like, "You do understand? Do you cover any history at all? You have Vietnam, you got 9/11,
perspective,
you got,
exactly.
Or World War II. I said you had 17-year-olds getting off of a ship, and missiles are coming your way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's been a lot of overreaction for sure. Yeah,
I have a lot of kids that I'm trying to, they need to talk with you.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of overreacting, right? I mean, just this sort of, and you're talking about perspective. Like we talked about this before the cameras rolled about, one of my metaphors is it's not pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. And people are reacting to situations as if like it's like life-threatening in times when it's not.
Right.
Now, for some people, obviously it is, but that's very small.
Right. And that's
percentage.
usually, Brett, that dynamic duo.
Right.
The combination of the parent and the kid.
For sure. And, well, and
know.
also how they're wired
Right.
genetically as well. Some people are more anxious by their wiring,
Right.
right? And then the way they're parented.
Yeah.
So you're referring
Right.
to all of that.
Right. But what you said as far as what's the system, like I like your power system. I like that where you got the power of, right? Where you had the move slow. And
Right.
so-
Power of patience,
right,
presence,
power of patience.
perseverance, and
Right.
perspective.
Mine is
Right.
I use a constellation, so I use a star system. Star system is twinkling stars. That's your young kids. Young kids, have fun. Leave them alone. Let them do whatever they
But
want to do.
that's a lot of coaching
Find
of
their way.
parents to get the parents off the kids' back, right? Sometimes.
And
right?
that's where
So-
where I would coach a lot. And then
Right.
then you move up to shooting stars. Shooting stars, 12 to 14, fun, yes, but now you're starting to move into passion. So you better, if you're going to be a specialist in a sport or whatever, you're going to have to start understanding. It's not always going to be fun,
Right.
right? You need to start thinking about winning. You don't have to necessarily win.
Yeah, it
as a
sounds like the
twinkling star.
transition, like, you
Right.
know, when you get out of elementary school, it starts getting a little tougher,
Right,
a little more intense.
right. Middle school,
Middle
it gets
school
intense.
into high school.
And then rising star, that's where I'm very resilient because you're 14 or you could be 44.
Yeah.
You still ain't figured it out, I'm not talking about you.
No, it's true. No, I don't think at 44. I feel like I'm
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
be 55 in a couple months or whatever.
Hey,
Yeah, believe it or
Black
not.
doesn't crack.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I know, it's amazing.
You're honorary
right?
brother.
I'm a genetic
Yeah.
Jew, so no, I don't know. Go back to Abraham sometime.
It's all right. It's all right there, Brett. It's all right there.
It all comes back
I'll
to
bring
the same
you
spot.
that reading now. Yeah.
No, but I'm actually, you don't know this because
Yeah.
we just met, but I'm like an identical twin. And my twin brother
Oh,
did the
okay.
23andMe or whatever those
Okay.
things is. And I'm
Ancestry.
the ancestry.
Yeah.
And I'm 2% East African.
Okay, all right, brother. Okay. But you do understand everybody's coming out of Africa because that's number one place where everything started.
I do understand that, but
Yeah,
there are
but-
people that came out of Asia too.
No. No, I didn't read that history book. It's you got
My
one.
wife came out of Asia. And they walked over the
No.
land bridges or whatever. And that's like,
No.
no, I know. I
No,
gotcha.
no.
Well,
There's
so,
one skull, and they say
all right, I gotta-
that's an African skull.
All right, I gotta tell this story. Okay, this is hilarious. I hope we can do this. But my wife is like, her father's Muslim, her mom's Buddhist because
Okay.
she's Thai,
Okay.
right? And her father is religious, so he's like uncomfortable with
Yeah.
the fact that she married a genetic Jew. In fact, he
Okay.
doesn't even know yet, and so she's planning on telling him that I'm an Iraqi because I told her that I'm a genetic Jew and all Jews go back to Abraham, who was
Okay.
born in Ur, which is like in Mesopotamia, the Tigris and Euphrates River near
Okay.
modern day Baghdad or whatever.
Right.
And so she's going to say that I'm an Iraqi because all
Okay.
Jews go back to Abraham, who was born in Ur, who is Iraq. Anyway, that's like,
Wow.
yeah. So
Just
as
tell-
an aside here, which we
Just
might
tell
cut
them
out,
you're Ethiopian.
2% East African.
Then you
I'm
feel
2%
better.
Sicilian too, 2% Irish,
Wow.
and 2% Scandinavian, and
Yeah.
92% what they call Eastern European Jew, whatever
I
that
got you.
means.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, I'm-
Ashkenazi or whatever.
Yeah, I've
So-
got. Let's see. I'm from that western coast of
Yeah.
Africa. The Congo and Ghana,
Mm.
and then 27% British.
27%.
Yeah,
Wow.
and 2% Indian because of the ancestor. His name is John Savage. It's on the internet too. We went to actual.
John Savage, like some famous Brit that like
He-
went to
he
India
took-
and killed people or something. Like,
John Savage took. No, he was part of that Pilgrim
kidding,
thing.
I'm kidding.
No, he's part of the Pilgrim thing.
Okay.
So
You mean
he
like
brought.
the Mayflower? Right.
Yeah, he got captured by Powhatan and those guys.
So you go back to, so you're more blue blood than I am.
No. But no, No,
Wait, you go back to John Savage. I don't go
No,
near John Savage.
I think
You
John
are
Savage.
more blue blood than me.
I think John Savage was the CEO. That's the difference there.
Okay.
He wasn't the daddy of daddies.
You know what? I'm thinking you're
he
blue
was-
blood, and I'm
yeah.
just not.
He was running that slave corporation. See, that's what I didn't get to because
Okay.
we went to the actual slave quarters, which are only like 20 minutes from where I live in Virginia. Took my son, took the rest of the family, and we went out there and did our thing, and it was very, very eye-opening going back to the roots because that's where there were 12 slaves. But John, he was a joiner, so he was a prisoner of war from one of the skirmishes. Powhatan's brother, his nephew, didn't like him, so he wanted to kill him. So they sent him to another Indian tribe. So he learned all the dialects and everything, and so he became the guy that brought the food back to the Pilgrims. Christopher Newport sent him back.
Yeah, it's amazing though, it's amazing though how much, ethnicity and heritage and everything and how much it matters and how, I'm one of these people that I'm always curious. So I don't have any fear interpersonally around asking, and so I always ask people what their ethnicity is. And some people get really uncomfortable, but I do it in such a way that's just like I've done it a million times because I find it fascinating. You learn so much about who someone is by...
No, I love my heritage. I mean, and like I said, we had a lot of strong matriarch women. My mother, she was in that next group, like my dad. Okay, she was a sprinter. She went against the Tennessee Tiger Bells, and stuff like that.
Now,
and
did
she's
you marry
she's
a
81.
strong woman?
She's something else.
Because my assistant behind the camera here just told me we all marry our moms one way or another, and my Thai wife is a lot like my Jewish mother, except I make the playful joke that she's not intrusive or controlling.
Oh no, that's about where I am. I got an Irish wife who's down the street, and she's CEO of Pathos down here, right? But she's a handful. Yeah, but she's real sharp, real smart. And,
Now we got to be
surrounded by
politically
the women.
correct now.
Yeah, because this is
Because now we're like...
he's gonna be cutting my no. You put me in a video, But yeah, a lot of strong women and a lot of strong men.
Now, does that, when you're coaching these kids and they have, like you can see some of their background in terms of, the parenting and stuff. And is that, do you, guide them that way as well a little bit?
Yeah, and I start getting, I definitely cross over. Because basically we had 3 meetings. Because of the IT experience, I have scrum calls, which is 15 to 30-minute calls with the kids on Zoom every week. And basically you just ask 3 things. You say, what 3 things have you done? What 3 things are you going to do? And what 3 things you need help on from me?
Wow.
And we're pretty much done with the call. So you're
But that's
eyeballing
a
them.
big, long call from that, right? Can be.
I got a whole lot of athletes and we're rotating through. But what I found is just what you're saying. This is where it crosses over. I have a lot of, I call it the surrogate son syndrome.
Yeah.
Where you got a lot of guys.
They need the mentoring.
And they, more importantly, you ever meet a lot of guys that are insecure? It's a lot of them, probably 70% of them. But
70%. Like that's probably dead accurate, by the way. Like,
And what it boils down to,
they didn't have a male.
They didn't have a male that hugged them,
totally.
kissed them, or they could let them cry.
So true.
So
that is really a profound thing to say, because one of I'm an identical twin, like I said, and my twin's like what I call a triple alpha, right?
Okay.
Like,
like,
I
Is
used
your
to
brother?
say my identical twin brother.
Okay.
I used to say when I was growing up, it was like being, like I would say playfully, it's like being married to a 5-star general without the sex, right? It's like, triple freaking alpha. Like, I've had so many fights in my lifetime just because, I didn't want to back down only 10% of the time. The rest of it wasn't worth it. But 10% of the time,
now
it
this
was
is
an
with your
all-out
brother?
fight. Yeah, all-out fist fight. I mean, well, we were...
So that's different.
Yeah, well, we were in a town growing up, a long time ago with no Jews. So we grew up with like, my skin might be white, but I grew up with pure anti-Semitism on a consistent basis. So it wasn't a fun. I didn't have a fun
Wasn't fun?
childhood. Yeah, no, I didn't. I
I'm
spent a
sorry to hear
good
that,
7 or
yeah.
8 years. Of,
But you had
of
this
misery.
alpha brother. Wasn't he the other
Yeah, he was
fighter? And
fighting.
y'all,
Yeah, he was fighting all the
he
time.
had your back, right?
Yeah, but it was weird because we never talked about it.
Oh,
Like we didn't have the other thing about alphas, like, you know, the way most alphas are wired, not all of them, is they're not like emotionally vulnerable. You know what I mean? It's the opposite. It's very macho. You don't really, you know, like you're not, the intimacy journey for an alpha is like much harder in general.
So
Right?
what do you
Because they're
consider
not-
yourself?
I'm like I've got alpha traits for sure,
yeah.
but I'm an intuitive empath. Like you know what I mean, meaning I feel other human beings like ridiculous to the point where it's, you know, I wouldn't wish that wiring on people either because
Oh no, that's the way
I
I'm
can
cut.
feel somebody from 75 yards.
Yeah,
I
I'm more of
knew-
an omega.
You're
yeah.
Omega. Tell us about an Omega.
Well, to me is I can turn on the alpha. Well, I'm from Baltimore, so
Right.
you learn early.
Yeah, you got to freaking have that.
You might have to hit first and forget all this.
right.
You know,
Right.
you start
This
it
is
and not
good- yeah.
finish it. No.
Right. You know, sometimes
After a
you
couple
gotta-
busted lips, you're like, no, no, I'm just gonna handle this. So switch to it. That to me is more like an, you know, omega, where you just
You'll fight when necessary. Yeah.
or if you get backed in the corner,
Right.
or you see,
Yeah.
and that comes from my dad and my mom, especially my dad, underdogs, and that's what this whole being a champion for the kids and being champion. If I see bullies, I can't stand bullies.
We're the same exact
I'm
way.
coming right
we're-
at them. I'm coming
Yeah,
right at
we're
them.
exactly the same
Yeah,
way.
because I never
It's
understood
just
that.
similar. Yeah.
I never, you know, you watch the
Well,
Western.
you said 70% of males are insecure. These are the more insecure ones. Like, you know,
Well-
this is the height of insecurity, right?
and it's not just male, but
Right.
but with bullies, everybody thinks they go away after high school. They just kind of fade into the fabric of everything. You know, I want to write a book on that. You know, and say,
You're gonna write. That'd be a good
are there
book.
bullies in heaven? Right, that type of thing. And
That's an
it-
interesting title
know what I'm
because
saying?
I'm good at that, like, you know, picking titles. But that's an excellent
I
one. Are there
can't.
bullies in heaven?
right.
That
you
could
know.
be a bestseller. I mean, I think these
We'll
guys
see.
want 3% of that. There's some
3%,
royalties in the
right.
back of the room here to help you
Right,
develop.
but that
this.
whole bully
I mean,
thing, can't stand
yeah,
it.
we're similar that way. I just because of the way I was raised, I can't stand
Yeah.
bullies. I root for underdogs all the time. I used to like the, you know, some of these movies that are a little violent, which I'm not, you know, when it's too violent, I don't love it or whatever. But remember the Death Wish movies? Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
would, you know, Charles
Charles
Bronson. I
Bronson.
loved Charles Bronson and like Steve McQueen
What's
and
your
guys
favorite
like that.
movie?
My favorite movie of all time, Once Upon a Time in the West, masterpiece.
Okay, that's
You ever seen that movie?
Oh,
It
yeah,
is
my
an
mother's in the
absolute
Westerns.
freaking masterpiece.
So my favorite,
Yeah,
Godfather.
Godfather. Well, these are classics. I mean, Godfather.
And
Is classic.
that is
Why
that
is
is-
Godfather? Why does that move you so much?
It's got everything. It's got all the ingredients on how people think, human nature, life,
Totally.
how you should attack issues,
Yeah.
how you should attack enemies.
So freaking true. What's your favorite book? Just out of curiosity now. Now that we're going in this direction.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I usually read a lot of nonfiction books.
Yeah.
So Good to Great, the Blue Ocean Strategies, Tuesday with Morris. You know, I'll
You know,
switch
Tuesdays
over
with
stuff
Morris
like
is
that.
intense. That
Yeah.
that ability to what he was able to do for people that don't know that book. You know, a guy that had ALS and was able to die with dignity in a slow, ridiculous like deterioration of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
good book though.
But to die with dignity like that, to accept his
Yeah.
fate
And,
in a
and
way
Mitch
that-
Albom wrote it, you know, the sports guy.
yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
And yeah, mainly I like Blue Ocean because that helped me craft my business as far as, because to me, Blue Ocean.
Explain Blue Ocean.
Blue
for
Ocean
us.
Strategy is a book basically that's saying you don't look at your competitor and try to do exactly what they do and make it a like missile proliferation. So you got 20 clients, I go get 30 clients. You get 100, I get 200. You get a facility that's 10,000 square feet, I get one that's 50,000.
You know, the
So
competitive,
you just keep
oh,
looking
yeah.
over here instead of the best example of a Blue Ocean strategy is Cirque du Soleil, right? So what you do is you look at the whole area of the business, and that's what I did with the sports. I said, you look at the whole area, and what Cirque du Soleil did was say, it's not just about circus, it's entertainment. And then you put your business hat on and say, okay, how can I get creative to cut out all those costs, those variable costs, right? So what did the Cirque, what they do? They looked at the circus. Well, where's all the costs? Feeding all those damn animals, right?
Totally.
The
So
trains,
just make the humans do it.
cleaning up, you know, the deaths, the insurance, the liability. They said, you know what? Let's start hiring Olympians to be the animals, right?
No, it's those shows are spectacular.
And they compete against ballet, and they compete against
like
movies. They compete against. So what I realized when I was running the business in Virginia is, you know, I had all the what do you don't call them WTF? You can't call them skins. WTF, the WFTs, and a lot of them were my buddies. But I'm saying
Washington football team is what he's trying to refer to.
But the bottom line, yeah, they're gonna get on me for saying that. But the bottom line, they would be my competitors. I'm like, let me come up with creative ways. So whether it was my training method, I used like Cirque du Soleil, a very ballet approach. So I knew how to train 70 at once by putting them in lines and cones, and you just shift them. So it looks like a dance.
Right,
so people like,
cool.
and then people don't even know.
Yeah,
Come up with your system, bottom line. So Blue Ocean, you focus on your system instead of all your competitors, because you'll just one up each other. And
totally. It's less ego. It's not so ego based, right? Really, what you're talking about is developing your own style and your own approach, not so ego dominated, right?
And a red ocean is the other way. So a red ocean would be like when I had the track team, we had 150 to 200 kids.
Yeah.
Right. That's too many.
Yeah.
How you going to? And we only have 1%. And we only have 1% going to championships.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
Once we cut down to 50.
Yeah.
You know, not always by choice. You know, mitosis, meiosis, coaches leave and stuff.
Meiosis.
Right. When we had 50, we had 50% or greater. The team started making all the championships because you could personalize and do precision training, the branding basically, and your system. And so that's basically what Blue Ocean is. Focus on your own system and business and your way instead of everybody else around you.
Yeah. So, but you know, look, that's a perfect place for us to wrap up here, Nick. To focus on your own system, develop your own style, develop your own path, do it your way, do what ultimately it feels right for you and your business, right? Develop the creativity out of that, stay crazy present and crazy authentic more than anything, right? Nick, what do you want to, how can we find you? You know, how can people find you? And tell us
here. No, you can find me on SavageFlight.com.
SavageFlight.com.
Or MVP League as well. MVP League Track and Field for sports.
Awesome. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for everything.
All right. Very cool. Hey, Dr. Brett here. Hit like and subscribe. And if you really want to support us, sign up to our Patreon.